Mornings with Brian and Gene. It is Monday. Not going to be as hot today as it was yesterday. Got home from Des Moines, put the AC on right away, immediately. Much cooler in my house last night. But back into the mid-70s today. Looks like a little bit of rain later this week, maybe Thursday, Friday, but then hopefully on Saturday, looks like sunshine in 83.
That's what I heard.
So
maybe a slight chance of some showers, depending on where you are today.
You can cool off. I got to mow that lawn. It is a jungle. It's brutal. I don't know how people make it all the way through the month. I don't get it. You got to go out there with a brush clearer.
I was
mow your lawn.
Walking one day this weekend, and I went through a whole neighborhood. It looks like they're all behind it. Which at least you're not annoying your neighbor. Then you know what I mean. If the whole block
if you're
is
a bunch of lazy people living together, then have at it.
Not lazy.
No thanks.
Their choice.
Not
the
helping
smoke
at all.
Is with air quality.
You
is
can
a
see
thing.
it. Yeah. Canadian wildfires again flaring up. So we've got some air quality concerns over the next few days.
Yeah, it should be through today, pushing back, and then a little bit more comfortable for those with breathing issues tomorrow.
Monday morning throwback coming up a bit later on. Take a look at something that happened many, many, many years ago. Also going to recap our my trip, at least, to Des Moines to see Cake. 3 Ways with Shaw, Bad News, Happy Music, the friggin' sports. Lots of other stuff to get to. If you need something, you can find us online, rockmornings.com. Send us a text, get all of our contact information there. Listen live on the website. Check out our daily podcast. Doc wants to hear some Queensryche. We'll try to get to that. Zach wanted some Apocalyptica. I'll see what I can do about that one as well. Again, get in touch with us by visiting rockmornings.com.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Scott Robert Shaw in the newsroom as well. I'll get to my recap of the Cake show a bit later on. Went down to Des Moines, visited some friends, went and saw Cake.
Went to a couple breweries, I would imagine.
Yep. Drank some beers, ate some food. Slept on a bed instead of on a mattress on the floor. Yeah.
Fancy.
Well, the last time we went down there, it was kind of a...
mattress on the floor?
Yeah, I think, they weren't expecting company, and they had these, the room that we slept in has French doors, and they don't really shut very well, and so their 3 dogs in the middle of the night kept coming in, and they were able to get on the bed because we were, like, right on the floor. Yeah, and love their dogs, love them, great people, but what I was like... we need to rectify this situation. And thankfully, it was fixed this time around, so no interruptions. I did get up in the middle of the night on Saturday to go to the bathroom, and as I came back into the room, I had left the door open, and I shut the door, and I lay down, and I'm just about to fall asleep, and I hear, meow, meow. So the cat had snuck into the room and was stuck inside and was not happy about that, so... But more of a recap coming up later on this morning. Right now, Shaw in the newsroom for a 3-way. What's going on?
Israeli forces are battling Palestinian militants across Gaza, including in parts of the devastated north that the military said it cleared months ago. Neighboring Egypt has issued its strongest objection yet to Israel's growing offensive on the city of Rafah, saying it intends to formally join South Africa's case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. Rafah is considered the last refuge in Gaza for more than 1 million civilians, as well as Hamas's last stronghold. Israel says it must invade to dismantle Hamas and return scores of hostages taken in the October attack that sparked the war. The Wisconsin Supreme Court is set to hear arguments in a case pushed by Democrats to overturn a ruling that all but eliminated the use of absentee ballot drop boxes in the state. The court's ruling, after arguments begin today, will come within 3 months of the August primary and within 6 months of the November presidential election. A reversal could have implications on what is expected to be another razor-thin presidential race in Wisconsin. A nature trail project near La Crosse is getting a big chunk of state money. The legislature and the Wisconsin DNR have authorized a Knowles Nelson stewardship grant to the Outdoor Recreation Alliance, also known as the ORA Trails. That local recreation group will use the funding to develop a community trail farm on more than 270 acres of land near Highway 33 in the town of Shelby. Jed Olson is the executive director of ORA, and he announced the funding at the trail farm site.
We just got notification that joint finance at the state level had approved the expenditures to move forward. And so we're celebrating over $1 million grant today that came into the Outdoor Recreation Alliance from the DNR, the state of Wisconsin. Thank you.
The trail system is designed to connect existing paths used by hikers and bicycles and provide access to campsites and other attractions. Actor Steve Buscemi's publicist says he is okay after the Boardwalk Empire star was punched in the face by a man on the New York City street.
Crazy.
Just like
Didn't that happen to Rick Moranis, too,
Yes,
right?
Same thing.
Same kind of thing?
And it's not just celebrities that have been targeted.
Right.
It's happened to random people as well. Police say the 66-year-old was assaulted in Manhattan. He was sent to a nearby hospital with bruising, swelling, and bleeding to his left eye. Buscemi's representative confirmed that the unidentified assault victim in the police statement was, in fact, the actor. The police department says there have been no arrests, and their investigation is continuing.
Well, weird.
Right? You're just walking down the street.
Down the
boom.
street, yeah. Wasn't Rick Moranis at like an ATM or something like that?
Yeah, it's just out in the public, walking around.
I've seen that happen to regular people too who are, on TikTok, and they're just walking down this, like literally walking down with groceries or whatever, and they just get, and not to get mugged either. That's
No.
not that, just to get assaulted.
You don't know if it's some social media trend or what, but
Well, I discussed a bit about my weekend. What did you guys do, Gene?
Well, it was Mother's Day yesterday, so that was nice.
Yeah.
We have decided that this is the last summer of our above ground,
Now that the kids are
pool.
all moving
Yeah,
on?
so we spent the weekend doing that, really.
Cleaning and getting it ready and open?
Yeah. Well, not completely open, but mostly it's just, there's a tarp shaw on top of it, and it collects snow and water and
Right.
leaves and all that stuff, so that's disgusting, trying to get that off. And then when we took that off, some years we've been lucky enough to have the water look good and just treat it with chemicals, and then there
Not
was
so much this year?
And then there was a dead bird and a lot of other stuff in it.
This year? What was in it?
Dead bird
Oh, really?
and disgusting. So yesterday I spent Mother's Day scrubbing out the inside of a pool.
fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I did have a nice dinner last night with my
Good.
family. So
What was the dinner of choice?
we had grilled salmon and bread salad and chocolate cake.
So how was your Mother's Day steak?
It was delicious, actually. One of the best I've had. In fact,
Really?
I did a nice teriyaki marinade for it and grilled that up, and it came out perfectly. And
Nice.
some nice potatoes and salad on the side, and we were living large.
I was eating leftovers. We had so many leftovers.
From the restaurants that you went to?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we ate out pretty much the entire weekend. So there was like leftover pizza, and then there was leftover onion rings, and then there was leftover French fries, and there was leftover breakfast from yesterday. Yeah, it was a lot
of leftovers.
lot of leftovers.
Potpourri.
Yeah.
So we got rid of all that when we got home, but yeah, crazy. Good times though. Good times. That is, I didn't realize how big Des Moines was. I guess
Oh, yeah.
it's
A couple 100,000, I think.
I think it's over 500,000. I think they were telling us like. I think it's more of like.
That and all the suburbs.
Yeah, because I guess Ankeny is growing pretty rapidly, and there's some other suburbs, and yeah, there's over 500,000 people apparently that live down there. So
Hey, Shaw, tell us about this air quality thing.
Yeah, you might notice that today. There
you
are
can
some.
kind of see it right now. It looks kind of
Yeah,
hazy.
it's going to be bad this morning, apparently. It'll get better later in the day, but the entire state of Minnesota is under an air quality alert to start the day. Fires, some of them in Canada, are causing enough pollution that all of Minnesota has an alert through noon. The Weather Service in La Crosse urging people to limit their activities outdoors, keep their windows closed so that the smoke doesn't get indoors. You can actually smell it at some point. So.
Well, F me, because I got to mow the lawn. I got no choice.
It clears up by tomorrow, though, Shaw?
Yes.
I can't even wait till then, dude. I got to do it now. I got to do it right now. I shouldn't even be here. I should be on mowing right
That's how
now.
I kicked off my weekend on Friday, getting that out of the way.
I knew it too on Friday because I mowed it on Thursday last week, and then I looked at it on Friday. I'm like, you son of a... You're going to be like this on Sunday when I come back, and I'm not going to have time to do it. I got to wait till Monday, so here we go.
You went to the farmer's market?
More on that.
Okay.
There's so much. I got a big box I got to unpack. This whole thing was... I got a lot to talk about my trip to Des Moines. So more on that a bit later on. Right now, it is Daughtry.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, Interstate Love Song from Stone Temple Pilots.
Sports has been brought to you by
The Brewers have a weekend, did they?
Yeah, so they took 3 out of 4 from the Cardinals this weekend. at home against Pittsburgh tonight at 6:40. NBA last night, Pacers beat the Knicks 121-89. They tied that series up at 2 games apiece. Nuggets tied their series with the T-Wolves at 2-2 thanks to a 115 to 107 win. In the NBA tonight, you got Indiana at New York, 7 o'clock. Oh, excuse me. That's tomorrow night. Celtics and Cavaliers tonight.
All right.
NHL, I don't know why the hell my sports is all effed up. NHL last night, Panthers, yesterday at least, scoring 3 unanswered goals. They beat the Bruins 3-2, take a 3-1 series lead. Canucks beat the Oilers 4-3. They've got a 2-1 series lead over the NHL tonight. Carolina at New York, 6 o'clock on ESPN. That's Game 6 of that series. And it's Dallas at Colorado, 8:30 on ESPN for Game 4 of that series. Brad Keselowski moved to the front when leaders Chris Buescher and Tyler Reddick got into each other, battling for first place with about 10 laps to go. Keselowski held on to win the Goodyear 400 at Darlington yesterday, the 36th win of his career, first win in 3 years for Brad Keselowski.
Wow.
Former Packers wide receiver Donald Driver announced on Friday that he is retiring as the Green Bay charity softball game host. He's not going to host it anymore. Doesn't mean he's not going to show up or be there or help out, but Driver's been a key figure for the annual charity game. He's handing those duties off to Jordan Love.
Oh, it's in good hands then, huh?
Jordan Love said in a statement, quote, Donald's walking away from the softball game is officially his retirement. Love said that he's honored to take over as the host of the annual softball game. The Packers quarterback also announced his new charitable foundation, Hands of Love, which you can obviously Google if you want to find out more about that. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Scott Robert Shaw coming up in just a bit.
A little bit cooler than it was yesterday, up into the 80s across the region today in Eau Claire. In La Crosse, it looks like low 70s. Mind you that air quality warning, though, that's in effect through later on today, basically, all the way through this afternoon. So be careful if you have to work outside.
We'll get to some Metallica in just a couple minutes.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
It's the day after Mother's Day. No more sleeping in on your one day a year. No breakfast in bed. Laundry's piling up. Boogers on the wall. Your special day is over and it's time to get back to mothering. Mothering. Issue instructions. Repeat instructions. Repeat instructions one more time. Really loudly. Don't forget to caffeinate. Think, oh my God, these kids are driving me crazy. Why do I even bother? Say no at least 15 times. The day after Mother's Day. Boy, could you use a nap.
You can go back to not caring about your mom.
So did your kids call, come home, Zoom? What happened, Shaw?
Let's see. Mary got 2 calls, from one from Adam, one from Hannah in Madison, and then Jack and his girlfriend met up with us yesterday and brought some flowers and some garden decorations. And, yeah, we went and bought some flowers yesterday, did some planting, and beautiful day to get outside.
Man, we had to stop by. Saturday was a conference track meet at UWL, which was a nice day to watch runners and athletes. But afterwards, we went to Menards, and I think everyone was at Menards.
Buying flowers?
Everyone was in the garden department. The lines were 30 people deep. It was crazy.
It was that way at other
I'm sure wherever
you
went, I went throughout the area. But yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, we got home from Des Moines yesterday, probably around, 1:30 or whatever. And wife was going to go over, get some, flowers and a card and whatever and go visit her mom. And then mom decided to do the pop-in, of course, in the midst of unpacking. And I haven't even showered. And, I have all these other things I want to do. And she does a pop-in. And I'm like, oh, all right, we're doing this.
Mother's Day pop-in.
I thought you were I was excited. Wife was going to be gone and go over there. And I'd have the house to myself. And I'd be able to, and I had to go get the dogs. And then, Pop-in.
Mother's Day.
And then I was able to talk to my mom on the phone briefly yesterday, which was nice for the short amount of time that occurred. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Mother's Day. It's over, though, Shaw. We can move on.
It is. I spoke to my mother yesterday, and she got the flowers I sent. She's good. She's doing very well. Thank you.
Good. Three-way now with Shaw in the newsroom. What else going on?
The star prosecution witness in Donald Trump's hush money trial is set to take the stand with testimony that could help shape the outcome of the first criminal case against an American president. Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer and personal fixer, is by far the most important witness in the case, and his expected appearance in court today signals that the trial is entering its final stretch. Prosecutors say they may wrap up their presentation of evidence by the end of the week. Defense lawyers have teed up a bruising cross-examination of Cohen, telling jurors that he is an admitted liar with an obsession to get President Trump. The Minnesota Supreme Court has booted the Legal Marijuana Now party as a major political party in the state. Now, only Democrats and Republicans will be the main political players with automatic ballot access for candidates and other major party benefits. The chair of Minnesota's Democratic Farmer Labor Party had asked the court to decertify the Legal Marijuana Now party, alleging the party failed to meet legal requirements. Minnesota's Secretary of State said the Legal Marijuana Now party will have to file a notice that it has met the requirements to be a minor political party. Minnesota officially unfurled its new state flag atop the Capitol for the first time over the weekend. That happened Saturday on Statehood Day. The new flag and accompanying state seal were adopted to replace an old design that Native Americans had reminded them of painful memories of conquest and displacement. The new symbols eliminate an old state seal that featured the image of a Native American riding off into the sunset while a white settler plows his field with a rifle at the ready. The seal was a key feature of the old flag. That's why there was pressure to change both. Just over $1 million in state funding for outdoor recreation projects is coming to a La Crosse area organization. ORA, also called the Outdoor Recreation Alliance, is receiving just over $1 million from Madison to help pay for a community trail farm for bicycling and hiking close to Highway 33. That money is welcomed by Randy Pushner, who's a local bike shop owner and president of the ORA board.
We have amazing trails already, but they're not always super easy to get to, and these trails are going to be easier because they're so close to town, and they're going to have features that will be doable by all ages.
Pushner spoke at a ceremony on Friday at the proposed site of the trail farm. So did a local 8th grader named Gracie, who enjoys biking and other outdoor activities like being around a campfire.
But overall, I just feel like whenever you step outside, you get an extra boost of energy, the fresh air, feeling the breeze. And no matter what, whatever you do outside, it brings you a sense of accomplishment. And I feel like that's really what getting outside is for me.
The ORA funding comes from a Knowles Nelson Stewardship Grant, which is designed to promote outdoor activities around Wisconsin.
Three-way with Shaw in the newsroom. As I mentioned, went to Des Moines this weekend to visit with some friends.
To see a show?
Yep, Benji and his lovely wife, Becky. We stayed at their place. They got the 3 dogs and the cat, and yeah, their dogs are funny.
Shaw, you grew up in Iowa. Did Des Moines was that far from you? Did you go there a lot?
It was a couple hours away from us. And did not go there a lot, actually. In fact, I was thinking about it. I've only been there a handful of times.
So it's about a 4-hour drive from here to Des Moines, and it's very flat. Once you get out of the La Crosse area, I mean, it's flat farmland, a lot of wind, what are they? Wind turbines or whatever. For miles, you can see them. And it's that time of year where they're starting to put the fertilizer out, so it's very odoriferous.
They're working the crops.
So the drive down was fine, though. I napped quite a bit of the way. I woke up like, where the hell are we? She's like, we're basically in Des Moines. I said, all right. Excellent.
Good timing.
And I was kind of surprised. The cell service, actually, most of the way down there was pretty good. I thought for sure we'd lose or have 4G or whatever. But
cool city, you liked it?
So it was tough because, we went to certain areas, and it's nice when you go a place and the people you're staying with know where everything is. So we didn't have to try to find our way around. They just took us to play. And they're like, do you guys want to do this? Do you want to go here? And I'm like, I don't care, dude. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
You make the itinerary.
We're just here, tagging along. So we visited some breweries. The breweries were okay. There wasn't anything all that stand out about any of the breweries that I felt all that impassioned about, Shaw. They have several of them down there, and we only were able to take in a couple of them.
Right.
The one thing that we did on Saturday morning, which was crazy, is this farmers market that they've got. Now, we have farmers markets in our area. There's 15, 20 vendors. There's some...
Eau Claire's got a large one on Saturdays, too, but this one is...
This thing, you could put the city of Eau Claire inside of this farmer's market. That's how big it was.
Outside?
So it's outside, and I would assume it's the downtown area. I think it's downtown. And basically, they closed down essentially like a mile of the main drag in downtown Des Moines. And then the side streets are also closed down for at least a block on every single street on both sides. So it's sort of like, a caterpillar with legs, Shaw. And there's hundreds of vendors. And they've got everything. There's coffee. There's food from every kind of nationality you could imagine.
So it sounds a lot like the one in Madison.
It does. Yeah.
It's crazy huge.
And awesome.
Well, and we got there, so it apparently starts at like 8 in the morning. And we got there 10 minutes after that, and it was butts to nuts.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing, too, is there's a ton of businesses down there, bars and restaurants. So if you want to just step out of line and go have a beer somewhere, you could just... We went into some pub that was showing the soccer games, and we had a beer and hung out and got out of the sun for a little while. But, I mean, they've got area butcher shops. They've got fancy cheese people.
Ooh,
they got,
like
soaps and herbal stuff.
Did they have
got
performances?
They had musical people on the corners. Yeah,
Yes.
there was a guy in a 9-foot Darth Vader costume taking pictures of people. It was like Vegas, Shaw. But no, and of course the weather was fantastic on Saturday morning. It was tough because there was so much going on, and it was really like sensory overload. It was really like way too much for me to take in, and I was like, I gotta go get a beer. I gotta get out of this. It's too much. No, it really was.
Too many people, huh?
Well, it wasn't so much the people. It's just there's so many things going on and looking at, and there's dogs everywhere, and like it's like, oh, doggy, and I want to pet the doggy, and then I want to have the coffee, and then I want to eat the pastry.
Oh, there's Darth Vader.
Well, and it's like I told my wife, I'm like, look, it'd be great when we come here and buy all this crap, and but we can't because we got to go. We're still here for another day, and we got to go home and all this stuff. But it is impressive. Their farmers market on Saturday mornings during the summer months is insane, and you can literally get anything. I mean, they got normally you go and you get the vegetables, right? The local farmers
maybe
come
some flowers,
but there was like I'm not kidding you. There was food from every kind of nationality. You name it, there was a food vendor for it. I mean, there was chicken and waffles. There was, pho. There was pupusas. There was all sorts of other stuff. There was African food. There was Mexican food. There was, Vietnamese food. It was, and then, of course, you're like, I just want to eat my way through the farmer's market, So, so we had a good time at the farmer's market, and then we hit a couple of bars, and we went home and took a nap, and then we got down to... it's the Lauritzen, I think that's how you pronounce it, amphitheater at the water park down there.
All right.
First of all, this place is massive. And we got to the water park at about 7:15, and there was traffic trying to get in. This place has got to figure out a better way to get people into the venue because it was a bleep show.
It's all outside. It's an amphitheater.
It's a completely outdoor amphitheater. It's part of this huge, massive park, and there's ponds, and there's all sorts of outdoor stuff to do for people, and there's bike trails and all this other crap. So it's really nice, but it's difficult to get in because there's really only one way in. Mm-hmm. So everybody's going in this one way. And by the time we got there, the show was supposed to start at 8, and we figured 7:15 we'll be fine, right? There'll be people there, right? Obviously, we're not going to be first.
It's just cake, after all.
And again, it's just an evening with Cake, a band that, again, I like Cake. I'm a fan of Cake.
Kind of a niche band, though.
But they're fringy. They're very fringy, right? And they've been around for a long time, and they haven't really had anything current. Let's just say maybe their most current thing was from 10 to 15 years ago. There was like 7,000 effing people for this thing. Dude, it was crazy. I said to Benji, I said, when we were trying to park the car, and we got out of the car after we parked it, it was 7:45, and the show's supposed to start at 8 o'clock. And there's 2,000 people waiting to get into the venue still. I said, there's no way we're going to get in on time. I said, I don't even care. I said, let's just leave. Because I don't want to wait. Dude, I cannot stand in line for hours and hours and hours. We ended up paying a guy in a rickshaw. The four of us got into the back of this little rickshaw thing. The guy was towing it with his bicycle, and he brought our four fat asses all the way up to the front. And we kind of cut in line. And then, of course, as we're going in, Benji, he forgot his ticket login password or whatever. So we're just about to go through the metal detectors, and finally he's able to log in and get his tickets. And so we got in, and it was a good time. And the band played. They played most of the songs I wanted to hear. They played a lot off their debut CD, their big CD, which was Fashion Nugget. They started out with Sad Songs and Waltzes, which was really cool. They did Frank Sinatra. Of course, they wrapped up with The Distance. They did Short Skirt, Long Jacket. Sure. They did Never There, the big ones. The ones I didn't hear that I was hoping to hear were Stick Shifts and Safety Belts, and also the Shut the F Up song. But they did not play that.
Was it a Madhouse Leaving then?
It wasn't too bad. We sort of went over to where the exit was as they did their encore. We knew they were wrapping up with The Distance, which was their big hit. And we saw it. And then right as it ended, we were able to leave. And then we kind of hustled back to the car. The nice thing is that the exit was right by where we parked. That's how far into the park we were. So if you've ever been to Lauritzen Amphitheater down there in this water park, you know exactly what it is massive. And we were right by the exit. And of course, you're battling with the people walking, the people on the bicycles, the guys in the rickshaws. It was just nuts. But I could not believe. I was just thoroughly surprised to see so many people coming to see Cake. I thought 1,000, 2,000, right? Saturday night, outdoor. They got a couple of songs you might recognize. And I know it's a bigger city. It's, it's a major metropolitan area. But I couldn't believe how many people were there. I still can't believe it. It blew my mind. And they were good. They sounded good. They've slowed down considerably. The tempo of several of their songs, they don't play as upbeat and with as much energy as they used to, from what I remember from many years ago. But it was still a kick-ass show, and it was nice to not have an opening band that I didn't give a rat's ass about. Mm-hmm. Got myself a hoodie. Beers were $9, so it wasn't cheap, but they were 16 ounces. They were tall boys, so that was all right.
That's okay for a show. And
it's a nice venue, man. If it's a nice night and you're out there, I did tell Benji, I was like, next time we're buying the seats because you're up closer and you can, not that you're going to sit down or whatever, but at least you're closer. I mean, being out there in the
lawn,
GA is not fun. Nah, not fun.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, The Offspring gone away. Not the first time that we've seen something like this where a random, unknown person donates a ton of money to an organization that could use it.
Is this like the guy who's worked as a janitor his whole life, never got married, lived very modestly, and all of a sudden gives $7 million to a school?
Kind of like that. Not as much, but still a pretty sizable amount of money. It's in Missouri, and it's a 91-year-old guy named Sam Sloan. Donated $500,000 to his town's volunteer fire department.
Oh, my gosh.
Now,
whoa.
Anybody around here knows a volunteer fire department, pretty small.
Volunteer EMS, volunteer firefighters.
Talking about a very small town, right?
Probably don't have all the things they wish they did either.
Volunteer.
Yeah.
They're getting secondhand, also ran, used, not new, whatever you want to call it. Fundraisers, right? Any way they can get a couple of bucks to get a AED machine. Mm-hmm. Get some new turnout gear, all that stuff. This guy has lived in his small town since 1960.
Sam Sloan has?
Yeah. Sam Sloan. Found out their budget was basically non-existent.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All their gear is from the 80s and 90s.
Oofda.
40-year-old gear. And that they apparently only had $169 in their account. Not sure how he found all that out, but this guy was able to donate $500,000 of his own money, and now they're getting all new stuff and some new trucks as well to help the community
no
out.
way, really?
Yeah.
It's $500,000, and $500,000 is a pretty good donation.
Never in a million years would I ever expected anything like that for a rural fire department.
I'm getting a lot of credit for it, but I don't know how to fix one of them things.
The guy's name is, again, Sam Sloan. It's Calhoun, Missouri.
So it's his small town. He found out how much they're struggling and decided, hey, I've got this money. I'm not doing anything with it. And I'm 91 years old, and they could really make a difference if they had what they needed to battle fires when they happen in our community.
The fire chief started back in December of 2021. His name is Mark Hardin. And he said there's a sense of pride and community. It's not just one person. It's all of us. But, of course, when he got into office there as the fire chief back in 2021, right after COVID, by the way. Remember how tough that was? Yeah. It was a department of just one person with old gear and trucks that did not run.
Whoa.
Said need a lot of work. Not many trucks were in operation. Not many of them ran. Only one ran at the time. So he opened the doors to the community, posted on Facebook, hosted trainings. Almost weekly grew his department to where it is now 28 volunteer firefighters.
Oh, my gosh.
Now. Yeah, invite the public. Hey, that sounds like something I might be interested in. Go down there. They try it out.
How can I help?
Yeah. Department was able to make repairs on some of the old trucks. But, of course, with the gear from the 80s and the 90s and the trucks in the situation that they are, times were tough. So this guy, Sam Sloan, who's lived in Henry County since 1960, said, hey, I got this cash. I'm not taking it with me. Might as well donate it. $500,000. Going to be able to buy some new gear, replace a truck or two.
Yeah, you can't really have a department of one firefighter.
Right.
That doesn't really, that's not a thing.
Very cool move by Sam Sloan down there in Missouri. We've got some Nothing More in just a bit. Another three-way with Shaw coming up. Bad news, happy music later on. Again, air quality today, a concern for many people in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. Canadian wildfires, so maybe limit your amount of time outside, especially if you got kids, old people.
I didn't realize you should shut your windows, too. That's really a
mine
thing.
Are shut. The air conditioning is on, baby.
Mine are wide open. I might have to do something about that.
So shut. All the way shut.
Rock Mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9.
Television tonight, you got The Voice over on NBC, the live semifinal performances. Jeopardy Masters on ABC, games 9 and 10, So You Think You Can Dance on Fox. The fourth season finale of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune on ABC. Neil deGrasse Tyson going to be on there. Talking smart. And also the first season finale of Deal or No Deal Island on NBC. Fallon's new with Snoop Dogg as his guest. Did you see Snoop's getting a bowl game, Shaw?
I did see that.
The Gin and Juice Arizona Bowl or something like that. Yeah, I think it's the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop. Is that?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. That's in December, right? I think the Arizona Bowl. Steve Carell and Paul Simon going to be on with Stephen Colbert. And Jimmy Kimmel's going to be on with Seth Meyers. Why is a late night show host going to be on with another late night show host? Well, Kimmel's got a bowl too, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel Bowl? Mm-hmm. So I guess that's
everybody's getting a bowl. You're getting a bowl. You're getting a bowl.
Got a text from Brandon. I was talking about this farmer's market down in Des Moines. And he said, that farmer's market is kick-ass. We drove there just to go to it.
Wow.
Well, that's what you told me. You said, Gene, you should make that trip.
Well, there's so much to do down there anyways. I mean, obviously, make a weekend out of it. If you're looking for a spot maybe you've never been to, find a band that's playing at that Laridson Amphitheater. Or, I mean, there's Woolies down there. There's a bunch of music venues. Yeah. And there's obviously a ton of bars and restaurants and wineries and breweries. There's a bleep ton of outdoor activities down there when the weather's nice. But this farmer's market, I think, runs May through October.
Probably.
On Saturday mornings, and it's massive. I just can't... the scope of it is crazy. Again, like a mile long, the main drag, and 10 by 10 pop-up tents everywhere that I can see.
Wow.
And every sort of different, any kind of nationality food that you're looking for, Shaw, they've got it.
Yeah.
You're looking for French pastries, they got that. You're looking for pho, they got that. You're looking for anything, Shaw, they've got it there.
Cool.
It kind of sounds like Madison.
Yeah,
if you're making a road trip and you've been to that one around the Capitol, maybe this is a different...
Brandon also texted in and said, did you see the bacon guy? There's a guy with like 50 flavors of bacon. I did not see him. There were several butchers and, meat shops that were there. Mm-hmm. Benji was very interested in finding out more about getting a half a pig.
Oh, I'm sure.
So we were asking about that. A lot of jowl bacon, stuff like that. Yeah, we bought there was a pickle guy, so we bought a bunch of pickled stuff because I like pickled stuff. Mm-hmm. My wife got some pickled quail eggs. I got some, what else did we get?
I'm looking at the map.
Some gifts and things like that for other people. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's, and there's all the other knick-knack stuff, Shaw, like, people that make wooden signs and
jewelry, probably.
Steel, like welded steel for your front yard, art sculptures and things like that. Yeah.
Sounds almost like the public market idea that the city of La Crosse has been kicking around for several years. Where it's bigger than a farmer's market. It's not just vegetables and flowers. It's meats and cheeses and soaps.
Yeah, and I will say that, having lived here for 20 years, it may not be a good idea to try to do that in the downtown area and shut the streets down. People obviously get pissy about that. I'm sure it was a difficult start, but
you'd have to find the right location, that's for sure.
But it's massive. It's huge. So thanks for the text, Brandon. Appreciate it. And as I mentioned, Gene, if you get a chance to go down there, check it out. It's
7 to noon on Saturdays, historic court district, and apparently named one of the best farmers markets in America.
Yeah. And we were, this was, I think, one of the first weekends.
Probably kicked it off.
In terms of a lot of the vegetables and stuff, there's only like radishes and there's not as,
asparagus
wide a
and
variety
rhubarb
of
and green onions.
a lot of the stuff that's coming up in the springtime, obviously.
Lots of rhubarb.
Oh, yeah. I was like, really? You're trying to sell rhubarb? everybody's got that growing. It's alley property, bitch. Like you can just find that on the side of the road. You don't need to buy it from somebody. But yeah, there was so many dogs, too. It was so great to see all the dogs, people walking around, and got to pet a bunch of boxers. It was fantastic. Three-way now. Show on the newsroom. What else going on?
Well, the entire state of Minnesota is under an air quality alert for the start of the day. Fires in part of the state reportedly are causing enough pollution that all of Minnesota has an alert in place through noon, and they warn conditions could get worse later in the day. The Weather Service in La Crosse urges people to limit their activities outdoors and to keep their windows closed so smoke doesn't get indoors. A man convicted of reckless homicide for starting a fire that killed 2 people 2 years ago has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. It happened in Sturgeon Bay in February of 2022. The fire happened in apartments above Butch's Bar when 60-year-old Anthony Gonzalez started the fire, reportedly while trying to refill a cigarette lighter. The fire killed 2 tenants who lived above the bar and seriously injured a third. A jury convicted Gonzalez of 2 counts of second-degree reckless homicide and 5 counts of recklessly endangering safety. His attorney says he plans to appeal. A Rochester man is dead after being hit by a train Saturday night. Police responded around 10:45 p.m. to the intersection of Civic Center Drive and First Avenue. Witnesses told police the man was hit after getting too close to a boxcar that was passing. They've identified the victim as a 23-year-old man from Rochester. He was taken to Mayo Clinic St. Mary's, where he later succumbed to his injuries. Protests over the Israel-Hamas war have spread across U.S. university and college campuses in recent weeks, leading to disruptions and arrests. Some demonstrations extended into weekend graduation ceremonies, although they were muted in comparison to the encampments and rallies that have taken place on campuses and resulted in nearly 2,900 arrests of students and other protesters. A small group of demonstrators at UW-Madison staged what appeared to be a silent protest during the commencement at Camp Randall Stadium. A photo showed about 6 people walking through the rear of the stadium, 2 of them carrying a Palestinian flag. A spokesperson for campus police said the group may have included students because they were wearing caps and gowns. He said they left on their own and no arrests were made. Pro-Palestinian protesters at UW-Madison have agreed now to permanently dismantle their 2-week-old encampment and not disrupt the graduation ceremonies in return for the opportunity to connect with decision makers who control university investments by July 1st. A summer-long road construction project in our area gets underway today. Work will begin on Onalaska's Midwest Drive, where a construction project is expected to last for several months. Crews will be reconstructing that road between Theater Road and East Main Street. The initial part of the work will see Midwest Drive become a one-way street westbound with access only from East Main. During the second part of the project, Midwest Drive will be an eastbound one-way street with access only from Theater Road. That work is expected to be done in early August.
By the way, if you do go see Cake, the lead singer pulled a Limp Bizkit.
What do you mean?
So you know how Fred Durst looks like somebody's grandpa now? With the white hair and all that? No?
Yes, I do know what you're talking about.
The lead singer of Cake did the same thing.
Like he came out and you were like, whoa.
He comes out and I'm like, whoa.
Whoa.
And again, I it's been almost 20 years since we saw him at Winona State, so I guess I didn't know what to expect, but...
He's not covering that.
Sounded great. Did the song? Everything was fine. I was the appearance was surprising. That's all. Selective hearing Stu asking if I went to the Iowa Tap House. We did not.
Went to a lot of.
Yeah, we went to several. None of them stood out. I'll be honest with you. They were okay. There was,
It was a brewery with food. That's what they are.
Yeah, the first one we went to was okay. They had a bunch of beers. The service was a little lacking. They had a weird setup, man. So they had it was like an L-shaped bar where one half was in the garage part where they had the big garage doors and it would be open air essentially. Then the other part was in the inside part where there were tables and chairs and stuff, but it was all connected. And then they had different taps on either side. So the poor guy, when you order your flight and you get 6 beers, he's got to go this way, that way, this way, that way. And it was just, and I'm like, boy, that is a really bad idea for and he's all by himself and it's a Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock and there's a bunch of, and I'm like, how is
he going to keep up?
Why is there no one else here?
Yeah.
This poor guy. And whatever. The beers were fine. We went to a place that was right across the street essentially, and it was very millennial, and they didn't have any beers that I liked. It was a lot of sours and IPAs, and just I was like, I'm like, anything dark? And they're like, no, not really.
So for the amphitheater, you couldn't carry in your own stuff.
I don't know, because people were bringing in chairs, lawn chairs, and
coolers.
No, but I saw people with blankets, and they were hanging. And I mean, if you wanted to sneak something in, it wouldn't be all that hard. There wasn't a lot. I mean, they scanned you. There was a metal detector thing.
So you can sit and lay wherever you want because it's an amphitheater on
in
grass.
The GA area.
But they did have beer.
They had beer,
beverage stands and stuff.
Yeah, and then in the back there were some food vendors and stuff like that. So, and again, we had been there before to see the Dropkicks and the Mighty Mighty Bosstones a couple of years ago, and again, maybe I should have taken into account that was shortly after COVID. And that might be why the numbers were so down. But I'm in my head, I'm like, why are there so many more people here for Cake than there are for the Dropkicks and the Bosstones? In my mind, they're two wildly different popular, you know what I mean, in terms of popularity. I would think that the Dropkicks and the Bosstones would be way more popular than Cake all by themselves. And I, again, admitted fan of Cake. I just was shocked to see how many people
liked Cake.
Yeah. Get to sports in a couple of minutes. Right now, Nothing More. Their latest, if it doesn't hurt.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
The latest from Nothing More, if it doesn't hurt. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Brewers had a weekend, huh? Catch any of the games?
I did not.
Other than yesterday, pretty successful. Brew Crew start a series at home tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates, 6:40 first pitch. 3 against Pittsburgh. NBA last night, Pacers over the Knicks, 121-89. They tied that series up at 2 apiece. Nuggets, who lost their first 2 games at home to Minnesota, and it looked like the T-Wolves were the next big thing.
So it's tied up now? Is that the deal?
Said not so fast there, youngin'. Yeah, they took 2 of Minnesota's home games, put them in their back pocket. Now the series is tied at 2 apiece thanks to a 115-107 win yesterday, or last night. Tonight you got Boston and Cleveland, 6 o'clock on TNT. That's game 4 of that series. Celtics up 2-1. And right now, Dallas is up 2-1 on Oklahoma City. Dallas hosting the Thunder tonight at 8:30 on TNT for Game 4 of that series. In the NHL tonight, Carolina Hurricanes at the New York Rangers. That's the 6 o'clock puck drop on ESPN. Game 6 of that series, followed by Game 4 of that series. Dallas at Colorado at 8:30 on ESPN for Game 4 of that series. So. As we mentioned earlier, Brad Keselowski got the win at Darlington yesterday, the 36th win of his career, but the first in 3 years.
After a dry spell, he's had
big
one.
time. I think it was like 131 races. Vegas Aces star Asia Wilson, the latest athlete to get her own signature shoe, announcing the news earlier this weekend as the 2-time defending champs were preparing to play a preseason exhibition game against the Puerto Rican national team. Asia Wilson, joins New York Liberty guard Sabrina Ionescu as WNBA players to have Nike signature shoes in recent years. Obviously, Caitlin Clark also signed a deal worth $28 million that would include her own signature shoes. So these gals are getting some shoes.
That's cool. There you go.
And elsewhere in sports, do you have an open, clean Google there? Okay.
Yeah. What's up?
JR Bunn, B-U-N-N.
Is he a MMA fighter?
Yeah. Click news.
Okay. Nope. Nope.
You don't want to watch that video?
No. Worst leg break in MMA history? No. No, dude. Nope. No.
Just click it once.
No, it says be the judge if you have the stomach to watch. No, thank you. I get it. I understand. Broken. Get it.
If you have a clean Google and you didn't catch the name, it's
And you want to watch that.
J.R. Bunn, B-U-N-N, and that's J.R. as in junior. Amateur bout Saturday's Full Contact Fighting Federation Rumble at the Roseland 120.
No, thank you.
This was at the Roseland Theater in Portland, ending in disaster when J.R. Bunn snapped his leg in frightening fashion in his 130-pound matchup with a guy named Jason Shaner.
No thanks.
Bunn came out of the gate apparently throwing heavy high kicks and some low kicks. Threw a powerful right leg kick that was checked by Shaner, and the shin snapped. Bunn tries to step back, instantly collapses to the canvas where the fight was then waved off. Ooh.
Yeah, no.
Again, if you want to give it a Google, J.R. Bunn, B-U-N-N.
That's what I want to start my day with.
Maybe eat breakfast
A
afterwards.
horrific leg break.
I don't know. There's been several really bad ones. The Anderson Silva one obviously comes to mind.
Conor McGregor, didn't he have one?
Mm-hmm.
But this one.
Yeah, when you see the leg going in the wrong direction and kind of flopping around. And then the worst part for me is when they try to step on the leg. And you know it's just jello down there. You know what I mean? It's just...
It's not going to hold anyone up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You'd be better off just falling right down on your side. You know what I mean?
Gross.
The Joe Theismann.
So yucky.
Did you watch it?
No, I'm not watching it. Absolutely not watching it. That is not for me. I know my limitations, and that is not a thing for me.
All right.
No.
All right. Just checking. The Monday Morning Throwback is coming up in just a couple of minutes. Also some Mammoth.
Rock Mornings on 95.7 The Rock.
Maybe this will refresh your memory.
Since 2008, Brian, Gene, and Shaw have been your wake-up specialists.
Like old times, huh?
Now it's time to take a look back.
Go way back.
It's the Monday Morning Throwback. Every Monday morning, Throwback.
All the way back to 2009. Long time ago. Was doing some reminiscing over the weekends as we were down in Des Moines visiting Benji and Becky. And, of course, Benji worked here for many, many years. He was here when I first started. And so we were reminiscing. He had brought up a band that he was excited about, a record that he was looking to purchase. And when he said the name of the band, I said something. I cannot repeat any of this on the radio. It is completely inappropriate. And then my wife said, "What?" And then we both had to explain the story, and has nothing to do with today's Monday Morning Throwback, but it was just funny that we were reminiscing about stuff from many, many years ago. Yeah, this is from 2009, Shaw.
But the audio sounds different.
15 years ago?
15 years ago.
15 years ago, 2009. As you know, when I started my life on two wheels, it began with a moped.
I remember that. The Green Goblin, right?
Green Monster.
Sorry.
Yep. And at first, it was not a Green Monster. It was a faded old Honda Elite E from 1984 that I bought for like $200 off a guy on the north side of town. And I loved it. I would ride it around. It was great. You know, Shaw. Mm-hmm. It was fun.
Yeah, I did some riding this weekend.
I had never been on a motorcycle or a moped, anything. Like, that was never a part of my life. And so I got this moped, and for a couple of months, I was riding around on it. And then we started working with a local company to man up my moped, Shaw.
Yeah, it was bad, because it was bad.
Mm-hmm. And they
got some paint
they manned it up. It wasn't just some paint. I mean, they made it look badass. They put a diamond plate on the floorboard. They added some lights, right? Some accent lights underneath.
You have a cool horn, too.
I had an air horn that was really loud. And they even put a NOS one-shot in it, which we did not test until much later that summer because I did not want to die. And I'm glad I didn't try it because I would have died. That thing, boy, when we hit that NOS, it just, pew, it took off. But before all that occurred, the moped had some rough days. It got hit several times.
Backed into, over.
And I dumped it one day on the way down.
Whoops.
On the way down to show it off to all our listeners. I was kind of a rainy day, and I went over some train tracks, and my rear tire said nope, and I went down.
Ouch.
Yeah. But this is the second of 2 incidents where my moped got backed into from 2009. A little highlight of the clip. You ready? Mm-hmm. All right, here we go.
As I'm driving back to the radio station to pick you up to head towards Features in West Salem, I get a text message. Where are you? I just ran over your moped.
She felt so bad, by the way.
I said, WTF, man.
She was all discombobulated. Things did not go well for her daughter at school. The bus didn't come.
I heard all about it.
So she was very discombobulated.
But that doesn't solve my problem. Now my moped's messed up. I was going to go on a sweet-ass moped ride with a bunch of kick-ass moped riders on Saturday.
She felt bad, though.
I had a whole thing planned out.
Yeah. Backed over my moped. Lori Morton Lockley.
Was that the end of the Green Monster, or did it survive that?
Well, it didn't work, but then it got figured out, and we got it up and running again. The first person to back over it, may he rest in peace, was the legendary Mikey Kearns.
Mm-hmm. I think he just tapped it, though, right? He didn't actually drive over it.
And then somebody, a guy on a Harley, picked it up and moved it one time, physically, like with his arms, picked it up and put it on the sidewalk so that he could park his bike in my spot. And I think you and Blake picked it up and moved it around the corner.
We did, around the corner.
And put it in the parking lot next door where I couldn't find it.
So we could have some parking out front.
Yeah. People just messing around with my moped all the time. If you want to hear, by the way, our conversation about Lori hitting my moped, go to the website, the Monday Morning Throwback, right there, taking a look. 2009. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who cares about her stupid kid not getting picked up? Whatever.
She felt bad. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Didn't fix my moped.
No.
Man, I'll never forget when we hit that NOS. You know what NOS is, Shaw?
Not really, I guess.
It's like turbo, right?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of
extra kick of power.
Yeah, and so a lot of cars when they you watch Fast and the Furious, maybe, or you know what it is.
Yeah.
I know what it is. Yeah.
So he's got those tanks, and you turn the tank on, you hit the NOS button, and pew! Yeah, and the engine. Well, they put one of those, and it's called a one shot. And they put it in a moped, a 1984 Honda Elite E moped. The problem is that the way that it wasn't a button on the handles, right, where I have control of the moped and the brake, which was the key element here. Because as you know, there's only one brake on a moped. There's not two. At least this one only had one. And so my concern was that letting go of the handle of the grip to reach down and flip the top up and then press the button on the NOS.
Took a lot of eye coordination.
As I'm already going a certain speed down a street, not knowing fully what it's going to do was very concerning to me. Then I'd have to quickly move my hand back up so that I could have control of the brake. And I was worried that I might not get back in time and might die. So after we had given away our motorcycle that year, we got the moped on display. All the listeners are down there watching us. We start the moped up, and, of course, the guys who did all the work on it from Unique Edge were standing around asking me if I had hit. And I said, no, I didn't. And they're like, well, let's try it. So we get it on the kickstand. Does your moped have the kickstand in the middle underneath?
Yeah.
Okay, that was how mine was. So it kind of sits up, right? Both tires are off the ground, essentially. So the thing's up there, right? And we kind of lean it forward so that the front tire, which, obviously doesn't have any momentum, is kind of touching the ground. And we started up, and then you hit the NOS, and all of a sudden the engine starts to go, and it starts full. And so we tilted it back on the kickstand so that the rear tire would touch, thinking we were going to burn out. No.
It took off.
It was like a rubber band exploding into space. It shot straight. I kid you not. I'm holding onto it with one hand, and it shot about 5 feet in the air, and it almost went so far I couldn't even hold onto the handle anymore. It went that high up in the air. It took off. It was like a rocket ship. Then it came back, bam, and it was just like,
And you're like, I'm glad I didn't try that.
I'm so glad I didn't try that. Oh, I was so glad I wasn't on that thing when we did that. Chad and Jake and all the guys at Unique Edge did a great job. It was fantastic, but they put my life on the line. I want them to know that. They put me in danger, Shaw. I could have died.
You're lucky to have survived.
I wanted to hit that NOS so bad, so many times. You know, Shaw, I've told you before, you go over these viaducts, even if you're going full 30 miles an hour.
Power.
If that had just been a little button on the dash or something like that, where I could just click it, just real quick, just a little snort of it. Little bump, little taste, Shaw, as opposed to the full line. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Whew. So scary. That is burned in my brain. I'll never forget how high that moped went. It was almost like those videos where guys are sitting on chairs and then the airbag deploys. You know what I mean? Those pranks.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like that.
Boom.
Yes, that could have been me. Scary. Monday Morning Throwback on the website if you want to listen to it in its entirety. What's going on, Sean?
Blame Canada. Smoke from Canadian wildfires is making its way into our area, affecting air quality in Wisconsin and Minnesota. An air quality alert is in place for all of Minnesota through noon today. Sensitive groups, including those with asthma and lung disease, as well as children and older adults, may experience health effects. Target has confirmed that it will not be carrying its LGBTQ merchandise for Pride Month in June in some of its stores after the discount retailer got a backlash last year for its offerings. Target, which operates some 2,000 stores, said the decision to offer Pride merchandise, including adult apparel, home products, food, and beverage, will be based on guest insights and consumer research. A Target spokeswoman declined to offer the number of stores that won't stock the items, but a full range will be offered online. The moves come after Target removed some items from its stores last year after intense backlash from some customers who confronted workers and tipped over displays. People around the world may know a bit about Wisconsin and Minnesota from reading the Little House books by Laura Ingalls Wilder or from watching the TV show Little House on the Prairie. This year marks 5 decades since the Michael Landon series began on NBC, and many people came to La Crosse on Sunday to take a river cruise with some of the actors who appeared on Little House. Donna and her husband live in the West Bend area, but made the trip to La Crosse for the event.
The story of Laura Ingalls Wilder. I've taught classes on Laura Ingalls Wilder, so it was just interesting to be able to come and see this event.
Among the cast members who took the river cruises was Dean Butler, who played Laura's husband Almanzo Wilder on the show. Butler says more events are planned around the country for the 50th anniversary of Little House.
This weekend, obviously, in Pepin. We're going to be in Independence, Kansas. We're going to be in, I'm going to be in Malone, New York. We're going to Connecticut. I mean, we're going to places that Laura and her family have lived and been a part of, and it's going to be a special year.
The Pepin area was one place the real Ingalls family called home, and that town held cast reunion events on both Friday and Saturday.
Three-way with Shaw in the newsroom. We'll get one more of those, and then bad news, happy music a bit later on. Also, the friggin' sports coming up. You got you got a Google in there, Shaw? You got a chance to look at a Google?
Do I have a Google? I have a Google.
Is it clean?
I don't know.
Like, is it ready for searching?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. JR.
Yeah.
Bun.
Oh, no, dude.
BUNN.
Don't do it.
Should I not do it?
Do it.
Go ahead. Just it's up to you if you want to watch the video or not.
And then click news at the top.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think I want to watch that. Some dude getting his leg broken in an MMA fight?
Yes.
Ooh.
I tried to get Jean to watch it.
I'm absolutely not watching. That's not for me, dude.
If you guys want to both come in here, we can just save on time. I can show it to both of you at the same time.
It's flapping in the wind, Shaw.
Ooh, twisting.
He watched it.
He watched it.
Hell yeah.
Ew.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Kid Rock with Cowboy. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Again, air quality issue today with the Canadian wildfires, so keep that in mind if you're going to be outside or if you've got old people and kids and pets and all that stuff.
People with breathing situations, yeah, until noon at least, it sounds like.
Chris from Chicago texted in, said NOS equals nitrous oxide system.
Yeah, you...
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, I knew what it was. But, yeah, they put a one shot in the moped thing.
Was a one shot.
Was trying to escape the planet's gravitational pull. That's what it was trying to do. Straight up in the air. Launched it. Wish we had video of that. It was...
I know. How did we not?
I don't... Well, it was 2009, man.
I know.
And cell phones didn't take video like they do now, you know? And we weren't obsessed with getting everything on video back then either. Selective Hearing Stu asked if I went to the Iowa Tap House. Did you try all 99? I did not. Thank you.
Ooh, yeah, that would have been a lot.
Dave texted in, said, was there any seafood paella at the farmer's market? I didn't see any, but I didn't walk around the entire thing. So we made, I don't even know how much we made it. We walked around quite a bit, and then I said, okay, I've had enough.
That's just all the farmer's marketing I can do.
Well, I just, want to buy a lot of stuff. But again, it was Saturday. We still had another day of being down there.
Really take a bag of stuff home to the place you're visiting.
And it was starting to get really busy, and I was like, okay, I've had enough of the peopling. with all the peopling that's going to happen tonight as well. I just was like,
break
enough
from
of
the
the people. Enough of that. Thank you for all the texts. Get in touch with us. Visit rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings on your rock station.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. That is the Stone Temple Pilots and Vaseline. The new Batman is 38. Robert Pattinson. Before that, of course, he was a very glittery vampire in the Twilight films.
Hey, Beavis, check this out. I will fight for you until your heart stops beating. Can I have some of your popcorn?
Oh my God! I said shut up!
Robert Pattinson, 38. Buckethead is 55. His real name is Brian Patrick Carroll, and he's famous for wearing a mask and a bucket of KFC on his head. He was in Guns N' Roses for about a couple of years. Mm-hmm. That's what he's most known for, but Buckethead. Plays guitar with a KFC chicken bucket on his head. That's his move.
Everybody's got a thing.
Hootie is 58
is he
today.
really?
Walking, there ain't no friend of mine. I don't know where I'm going. Come on, Riverfest, write that check already. I want Hootie at Riverfest.
Isn't he playing this summer up at Alpine?
Yeah, Alpine, yeah. I think he's playing when we're back in New Hampshire, actually. My wife brought it up.
Not around to see Hootie?
We'll see. Hootie, 58. Stephen Colbert, 60.
Thousands of entries were submitted, and the name Bodie McBoatface got 4 times more votes than any other name. And well, it should. I believe it is the best name for a boat.
Yes. Plowy McPlowface, Bodie McBoatface. That all kind of got his start from Colbert a couple of years ago. He's 60. Dennis Rodman is 63.
Dennis, you're fired.
Absolutely.
Got fired by Donald Trump. Was that the Celebrity Apprentice?
Oof, I guess.
Rodman. Stevie Wonder, 74. He's won 25 Grammys, most ever by a male solo artist.
I just called to say I love you.
Just called to say he loves you. Harvey Keitel, 85 years old today.
I need you two folks to do is take those cleaning products and clean the inside of the car. I'm talking fast, fast, fast. You need to go in the back seat, scoop up all those little pieces of brain and skull. Get it out of there.
Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Taxi Driver, was Satan and Little Nicky. Harvey Keitel, 85. Born on this day in 1941, he died in 1959 in a plane crash with Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper, Richie Valens. La Bamba. 17 when he died.
Nuts, huh?
Clear Lake, Iowa, right? Surf ballroom.
You can stop and see a field.
Yeah. Obviously, the roadside attraction is more dedicated to Buddy Holly with the glasses, but yeah. Born on this day in 1922, died in 2009. B. Arthur. She is so awesome and so influential that the nude painting of B. Arthur that she didn't pose for sold for $1.9 million.
Yeah. It's not really her nude.
Naked pictures of B. Arthur.
Don't you have a book? Do you have a book?
Well, I've got the candles. The Golden Girls candles.
Magnets.
And
I
got
thought you didn't
fridge
have a
magnets.
naked.
Well, so when Another Lost Year played here many years ago, we printed off pictures.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Of that, because in reference to, obviously, Airheads, where they wanted all the weird stuff. The football helmet full of cottage cheese and naked pictures of B. Arthur, yeah. 160 years ago, 1864, the very first soldier was buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Confederate prisoner of war died at a local hospital. They buried him on the grounds of the estate that was being used as the Union headquarters. It is by far one of the most awe-inspiring things I've ever seen in my entire life, Arlington National Cemetery. And if you've never been, I highly recommend you go. Say what you want about The people in D.C., our elected officials.
It's moving.
But there are several buildings and memorials in Washington, D.C. that you absolutely must see as an American. They're just unbelievable. And Arlington National Cemetery is one of them. 1988, in theaters, Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. I don't even remember which one this was. I think this was the girl with telekinesis.
Okay.
There was a girl that...
7.
One of them, she had telekinesis. Wake me up when he gets to space. That was Part 10, by the way. A much more important film made its way into theaters on this day in 1994. I can't believe this reboot they're making. What an abomination. It absolutely looks horrible. But the original, starring the late, great Brandon Lee, made its way into theaters on this day in 1994, The Crow.
I thought the police always said freeze.
Well, I am the police. And I say don't move, Snow White. You move, you're dead.
And I say I'm dead. And I move.
As if they didn't sully.
Making it?
Oh, yeah. The guy that does the clown in it and the reboot. Is this Skarsgård, whatever his name? Yeah. And the picture came out, and I already don't like reboots, and they're doing it dirty. As if the terrible sequels weren't bad enough that they came out with after the original Crow came out in 94. They're making this reboot. It just looks... I'd rather that they install the bike lane right here in my rock studio
than
put that movie in theaters. It's that bad. And that's just from like a couple of pictures. It's awful. 2004, Frasier aired its final episode.
Hey, baby,
until it came back. Just like a couple of years ago, right?
Didn't like everyone watch that? I thought that was
it's one of the most watched finales of all time, yeah.
I never really, I saw shows here and there, but I never really got into it.
Spin-off of Cheers, obviously, Dr. Fraser Crane, and now there's a reboot, or there was a reboot. I don't know, did it get canceled, the reboot? 6 years ago today, 2018, Margot Kidder died at her Montana home at the age of 69. She, of course, was Lois Lane in the Christopher Reeve Superman films.
Is it true that you can see through anything?
Yes, I can. Oh, pretty much.
What color underwear am I wearing?
Oh, my. Never figured out that as soon as he took his glasses off, he was Superman. Just couldn't see the resemblance. That and the little hair curl. That was the only thing. It was dead giveaway. Oh, no. Oh.
No.
You don't.
Clear as day.
Where's Clark?
You're Superman.
Superman shows up. Where's Clark? Yeah. That to me, like as much as I like Superman, that to me was always like, come on, man.
Just the nerdy glasses and got them all fooled.
Shaw coming up in a bit. RockMornings.com if you want to get in touch with us.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Shaw, you got 69 minutes?
Not right now.
Will you later on today?
Sure.
That's all it takes to feel refreshed. 69 minutes outside.
Outside. Okay. Good day for that.
They say 67, but I'm going to round up.
67 minutes, like fresh air, outside, sunshine, like that kind of thing?
New poll says the average American needs to spend 69 minutes outside each day in order to feel refreshed.
Did that yesterday.
Does it have to be all at one time, or can it be in chunks?
I think it can be in chunks.
Okay.
Obviously, right now, easy enough. Weather warmer. Not too hot out. Go for a walk with the dog. If you have a dog.
Does that count if you're scrubbing the inside of a pool?
Yeah, it's outside.
From algae? Okay.
January in the Midwest could be a little tougher to be outdoors. And it's kind of miserable out there, so it's not really all that refreshing.
Some people love the winter sports.
Or maybe July in Arizona. You can pass out from the heat if you're not careful.
Vietnam right now, isn't it like 118 or something?
So right now, they define feeling refreshed as two out of three people say that being outside relaxes them, puts them in a better mood, and helps them clear their mind.
Well, it's vitamin D, it's fresh air, Shaw. Yeah. Sometimes if you're outside, you're communing with nature, depending on what you're doing.
And being cooped up inside too much can deepen your feelings of depression, anxiousness, and loneliness. So all it takes, Shaw, is 69 minutes outdoors each day to refresh yourself.
Okay.
That's all you need. So if you got an hour and some change when you get home, go for a little walk.
Yeah.
One more, I got 69 touchdowns. You know what I mean. Only you know what I mean, baby.
And we expected that guy to be good at roasting?
No.
Come on now.
I did not.
Everybody knew he was not going to be great.
What number you want to wear?
69! Take the number 69! It's hilarious!
Is that number taken?
Get outside. Enjoy yourself. But maybe afternoon, is that when the air quality warning is?
Well, Minnesota has an air quality alert through noon statewide, and in La Crosse and much of western Wisconsin, they're talking about the possibility of some widespread haze, generally between 1 and 2 this afternoon. So very narrow window there.
What else going on?
Secretary of State Antony Blinken has delivered some of the Biden administration's strongest public criticism yet of Israel's conduct of the war in Gaza. America's top diplomat said in 2 television interviews that Israeli tactics have meant a horrible loss of life of innocent civilians, but have failed to neutralize Hamas's leaders. He underscored that the U.S. believes Israeli forces should get out of Gaza, but also is waiting to see credible plans from Israel for security and governance in the territory after the war. Minnesota officially unfurled its new state flag atop the Capitol for the first time on Saturday on Statehood Day. This new flag and accompanying state seal were adopted to replace an old design that Native Americans said reminded them of painful memories of conquest and displacement. The new symbols eliminate an old state seal that featured the image of a Native American riding off into the sunset while a white settler plows his field with a rifle at the ready. The seal was a key feature of the old flag. That's why there was pressure to change both. There was a little bit of Hollywood in the Mississippi Valley this weekend with celebrations of a long-running television show that was set in this part of the country. Yesterday, the La Crosse Queen hosted 2 river cruises featuring actors from Little House on the Prairie, which made its debut on NBC 50 years ago. Dean Butler played Almanzo Wilder, the husband of Laura Ingalls, for 4 years on Little House. Butler recalls that the frontier show, set in the 1800s, was very popular as a contrast to what was happening around America in the 70s.
We were never in fashion. You know, it was a world apart always, and I think people have loved stepping into that world apart to hear stories about people that apply to is their world and all of our worlds.
Cross Cruises followed 2 days of events held in Pepin, Wisconsin, where the real-life Ingalls family lived for a time. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes has reigned over the weekend box office. Studio estimates that the latest installment in the Apes franchise brought in over $56 million in North American theaters. It was a much-needed surge for what could be an uncertain summer in theaters. Ryan Gosling's The Fall Guy underperformed. It was number 2 with just $13.7 million in ticket sales in its second week of release.
Yeah, I got no interest in that.
Well, Deadpool's coming out. The new Twister movie's coming out.
Looks awesome.
So, yeah, we got a couple to look forward to. I think we'll be all right. Three-way with Shaw. Bad news, happy music coming up. How we looking?
A guy was told he needed to build a fence to hide the boat that he stored alongside his house. So he did it in a spectacular way.
This is such a funny story. I can't wait.
Because he has to do a thing, so he's like, okay.
We'll wait. We'll get we'll get the download here in a bit.
I'll do the thing, but you're going to pay this.
You'll see. You will see. Bad news, happy music coming up a bit later on. We'll get to the friggin' sports after Fozzie.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. That is Fozzie. The friggin' sports. Brought to you by Animals on the Fields.
Ha! I like these stories.
Not the first time, won't be the last. This one's kind of unique, though. See squirrels, cats, dog occasionally.
Dogs.
Dog occasionally, yep. The Oakland Athletics, they've got a raccoon problem in the broadcast booth. We talked about that before. Bats, bees. There was a Diamondbacks game that got delayed by 2 hours because of the bees.
Is this a ferret or a snake or
no?
what is this?
It's a big giant ass bird.
Like a
am
falcon,
going,
like an eagle.
I am going to defer to the call of the game from Saturday, 5th inning of the Giants game against the Cincinnati Reds.
There's a bird in short left center who's suddenly become a star on the field, just hanging out. Enjoying the day, basking.
I like that. That's not just a bird, though. That's a big bird.
Is it a crane?
I don't know what it is. It's not a, like, when you say bird, I think like somebody's just flying in, swooping, and getting out of there.
This ball lifted toward left field, falling quickly, and a diving effort by Ramos, tumbling gymnastically to make the catch in the shadow of the bill of the bird.
Yeah, how about Ramos? Ramos, 2 great defensive plays with his arm and right, dealing with my man right out there with the bird, and then making a great play coming in.
That is a brilliant, brilliant effort, and that round of applause you're hearing is because they put the bird on the video board. It's a video bird. Out here in California, anybody can become a star. What do you think the ticket he scanned on the way in said? General admission?
Field pass. He had a field pass. I mean, usually you get to go down on the field, maybe watch BP, but this guy he's got some clout.
Beak P?
Must know Larry Bear, the Giants must have got him on the field. He's had enough.
Oh, he's out of here.
He's showing off right now. A little wingspan. Look at this.
That bird is soaking it all in. Like a home run trot. Bye-bye, birdie. What a joy that was.
Do they not see a lot of birds? I guess not on
Well,
the
it
field.
was a big bird, though. I mean, it's different when it's a robin or a dove or a crow or
like a crane,
pigeon. This was a pelican, apparently. Big, giant brown pelican.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, pelican. Hey, pelican, pelican, pelican. And he's just hanging out there in the outfield.
He can do that.
And I love the crowd reaction. They flash the bird up on the board. And bird! And then the bird flies. Oh, bird! The commentators there, Eric Karros and Jason Benetti, had some good times talking about the bird. Still able to make the call of the catch in the outfield. What do you do when an animal runs on the field? You got to call it, right?
Yep.
Have to.
I'm Brian Fellow. That bird is a liar. I'm Brian Fellow. He's starting to make me mad. He better shut up.
Yeah.
That's a big bird.
You got to come up with a nickname, though, for that bird when he's out there in the outfield, right? The one guy tried to call him a big-ass bird. I think he realized I can't say ass on the radio here. Big bird.
Bird.
Yeah.
You sold my dead bird to a blind kid? Lloyd, what do you... Petey didn't even have a head.
Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Bird on the field. Friggin' Sports brought to you by the Bird on the Field.
Mm-hmm.
Bad News Happy Music and just a bit some Beartooth next.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril. Now that's just nasty. Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
On a Monday, Shaw, what do we got?
Well, a high-ranking police officer in the New York Police Department got an unfortunate taste of his own medicine over the weekend when he accidentally caught a face full of pepper spray while trying to break up a pro-Palestinian demonstration on the Manhattan Bridge.
Oops.
Video posted to social media appeared to show Assistant Police Chief James McCarthy spraying the chemical irritant directly into his own face while his officers manhandled protesters on the bridge. While the other officers in helmets and body armor got physical with the struggling protesters, McCarthy could be seen reaching for his pepper spray to try and neutralize them. Instead, Instead, he mistakenly appeared to unleash a full stream of the irritant directly into his own face.
Seen the pictures and video of him rinsing his eyes out.
Yes,
He's
images
not having a good day.
And video from the scene showed McCarthy having his eyes flushed with the help of other officers as he squinted and cringed from the burning substance. Police were quoted as saying someone pepper sprayed the assistant chief, although bystander video appeared to show him spraying himself. Yeah, more than 100 people were arrested during that protest on the Manhattan Bridge.
In the face! In the face!
Friendly fire, Shaw. Little friendly fire.
Search and rescue crews in Utah put their own lives on the line to rescue a man who was found stranded on a rock thousands of feet in the air over the canyon below. It's called a hoodoo, and it is a balancing rock formation similar to what you see at Devil's Lake, the balanced rock. It's not connected to other rocks. It's not clear how he got onto that position. It looks to be about a 4-foot or so crevice between the two. Rescue crews rigged ropes and set up a ladder over the 5-foot gap to the hoodoo and then crawled over the span to get to the man, securing the injured hiker before tending to his injuries. The man was eventually able to cross back over using the ladder, with the entire rescue taking just under 3 hours.
Oof.
Scary. Of course, what are you doing up there, guy? Come on. A recent audit revealed tens of thousands of pieces of delayed or undelivered mail at a post office in Minnesota. The audit was conducted at the Bemidji Post Office by the U.S. Postal Service Inspector General. They say there were increased and reported concerns about increased package volume that was disrupting mail service throughout northern Minnesota. They visited the Bemidji Post Office and found there were a number of delayed letters as well as insufficient staffing. The issues were happening, they say, because management at the post office did not have a comprehensive plan to assess resources while additional package volume was added to its delivery operations. They found more than 78,000 pieces of delayed mail still in the post office's mail processing area.
That's a lot.
Now, they say management did not have a program in place to provide the Bemidji Post Office team with training on mail processing operations. How hard is it? You get the mail and you deliver it to its intended address. Come on.
Yeah.
The future of crime fighting.
Are they? I'm assuming it's all starting to move now, and people are getting their mail.
Yes.
Grandma's $5, card is coming.
Card is making its way slowly but surely.
Oh my gosh.
The future of crime fighting has arrived in the form of drones that are capable of pursuing criminals in action. One police force has recruited the technology seemingly straight out of science fiction to tackle theft and other petty crimes. This is happening in Bensalem Township, Pennsylvania, northeast of Philadelphia. They recently released footage of drones tracking down and helping catch suspected thieves. They explained their small fleet of drones as part of a task force meant to address growing retail theft. They say part of the effectiveness of the drones is credited to the speed at which they can be dispatched and locate suspects. Because they fly in the air and are not bound by traffic patterns or road routes, the police say an operator can typically get a device on the scene within about 2 minutes. And the clearance rate for retail thefts in that city is now 62%, significantly higher than the national average.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with.
Yikes.
It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Or caught.
Right. By a drone.
By a drone. Nothing to see here.
Right.
Just robots coming to capture people.
It's a new wave of crime.
What if you're wearing the same outfit as the guy who stole the stereo? Right?
Sure.
What if you got the same Cubs jersey on, or whatever? Right? Local man wearing Cubs jersey and black nylon hat.
Is mistaken by a drone for someone else?
Gets, picked up by does the drone pick the person up off the street and drop them off into some sort of or does
I think it just radios back to police officers.
As we've seen before, they're not that great all the time at checking the addresses. Didn't we just have a story last week of them busting into this guy's house and killing him?
Yeah, an Air Force airman was mistakenly killed.
Well, people were busting his door down. He gets his gun because he thinks he's going to get robbed or assaulted or something. Next thing you know, the guy's dead. Oh, sorry, we got the wrong address. The drone is a reliable source, though?
See.
All right.
We'll see. A Georgia man has been arrested after he was caught riding a lawnmower while drunk. Deputies stopped 64-year-old Willie Laguinas after they noticed him riding a lawnmower on a highway.
Yeah, that's the reason why. If he was doing this on a side street, back road.
When they asked him why he was on the road, he said he was trying to get home. They say his breath smelled like alcohol, and he had a bag lying on his feet on the lawnmower.
Hell yeah.
He allegedly threw a beer can onto the side of the road and then showed deputies the remaining cans of beer in the bag.
Look at these.
He asked deputies to give him a chance
You
and
want
said
one?
that he had been in this situation before. Still, he was arrested
Willie.
and charged with an open container and low-speed vehicle
low
violation.
speed. He's on a mower.
That's why I'm riding a mower. I'm having a beer. I just got done mowing a lawn. What's better than a
only had one.
You want a cold,
frosty little beer?
too?
I'm not that intoxicated.
I'm just driving my mower down the street here.
Very slowly.
A 28-year-old female postal worker in Ohio was caught racing a Mustang.
Dude, I didn't know these things
in
could
her
go that
USPS
fast.
mail van.
This is crazy.
She was going more than 100 miles per hour in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. She got off with just a verbal warning plus a fine for the traffic violation. If only USPS was this quick with their deliveries.
Is there a reason you're going over 100?
I didn't realize that I was going that fast.
Yeah. I mean, that Mustang took off. He caught my attention, and you blew by him, and I was pacing you at like 105.
I mean, I shouldn't have that.
Did you know the person in the Mustang?
No.
Okay.
They were driving around like ridiculous on 590. But...
I kind of assumed when the way they took off and at the light there, because I was right across from you.
Right.
So he saw me coming up behind him, and he did the right thing and stopped or slowed down, and then you continued.
Whoops.
How in the world?
A postal service van going 100?
Through rain, sleet,
Oh my
snow,
gosh.
and drag races against a Mustang.
And that guy in the Mustang.
Well, you had opposite ends of the postal spectrum there, Shaw. You got the slow mail in Duluth.
That girl.
And you got the
very
fast
mail in the van.
Fast mail in the van. I thought they had governors on those things, so they couldn't go too fast. I mean, it's not one of those box vans, right? That we see deliver.
No, it's just a van.
Okay, so they don't put the governors on those things.
She's not messing around with that.
And a California man who was told by the city that he needed to put a fence up to hide his boat from public view did just that.
So he's got the boat parked in his driveway.
Yeah, along the side of his house.
And they're like,
it's
you gotta-
visible from the street. And so
Right.
the city's like, oh, that looks terrible. We got to do something about that. You got to put up a fence.
Can you imagine the audacity of the
It's
government?
just parked next to the garage.
It's my driveway. I'm paying for the taxes here. I can park whatever I want there. And it's not an eyesore boat. It's a nice boat.
Well, this guy got a letter from the city of Seaside, California, requiring him to build a 6-foot coverage screen in front of his boat. After discussing the plan with his neighbors, this guy decided to build a fence with a lifelike painting of the boat on it.
That's so great.
So as you drive past on the street, it looks like you're still looking at the boat when it's just a painting of the boat that's actually behind the fence. Images of the fence have gone viral. Thousands of comments from social media users. Both the man who owns the home and the artist behind the display say they were surprised at how big of a response the painting has received.
Dude, that is so funny.
With all of the attention the fence is getting, the artist says other residents of the city have already asked him to create murals for their own boat fences.
Love it.
That is so
Isn't that great?
funny.
What a big FU to that stupid city.
Perfectly
All these
legal, too.
stupid local governments that think that they can control everything people do. F yourself, dude. Do they have an HOA? Is there some kind of HOA
wondering if
contract that
that's
the guy
the case.
signed?
Yeah,
Is that the deal?
I'm thinking maybe
where the
so.
mailbox has to be 2 feet and 1.5 inches above the ground, some crazy crap like that? Then okay. All right, you signed that agreement.
You knew that going into it, but if you didn't and it's just your boat, oh my gosh, that is
I love it.
so funny.
Love it.
Quit playing with your dinghy.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm
Parking
not.
it in my driveway. That's all I'm trying
Where
to
it
do.
goes. The side of my garage. That's where I put it.
Ugh. I know why these people move to Montana and start militias, Shaw. I'm starting to become that guy.
It's not.
Like, just
It
F
doesn't
off,
need
dude. I got a boat. It's in good shape. I'm paying my taxes. I'm up on all my bills. Why don't you worry about the other problems in this neighborhood? You know, like the
Leave
drugs
my-
and the crime
alone.
and the bad roads, the things that are your responsibility. I'll worry about me. You do you. All right? The stuff that my taxes pay for that you're not taking care of, how about you deal with that? Why don't you close another library? Bastards. Man, I hate the government.
Oh man! So it's a defense that looks just like his boat.
That's so great. And the passive aggressiveness of it is just
So-
mwah, chef's kiss right there. Love it. Thank you, Shaw. Maybe I can have somebody come over and paint tall grass on my grass so that it looks like I'm participating in your hippy-dippy BS.
Not mowing. Yeah. Well, you can do that. Lots of people are.
I know, Cody. Come over. Get your cans out, see what you can do. Ugh. Bad news, happy music. Thank you, Shaw. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Get to our daily check-ins in just a few moments. Do that right after Metallica.
Rock mornings. Only on 95.7 The Rock. Call.
Hello?
Email. I tried emailing you. Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Get in touch with us by visiting rockmornings.com. You can listen to the show on the website. You can check out our daily podcast, find all of our contact information right there. Ryan texted in, said, I don't think it was the local government. The story I read was the guy lives in an HOA neighborhood. Then,
Then
it's on him, but I still like the passive aggressiveness of the fence with it. I'm sure they have a rule against the fence boat thing.
Spray painting or painting
fence,
on the fence.
I don't know why you would ever want to live in an HOA. They sound like the worst thing in the history of the world. Every time you hear an HOA story, it's about a flag that's not in the. It doesn't have the right degree of angle off the side of the house, or the height of the mailbox, or you can't certain colors and things like. It's like, I get it, dude. It's great. You want to have an aesthetic, and you want it all to be nice, and you want people to lose their value on their property. But at the same time, bro, you're coming around with a tape measure on my mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
How about I hit you over the head with a baseball bat? How about that? Is that in the HOA?
Nice fence, though, guy.
So great. Oh, you want me to cover up my boat? Sure thing. T-Stat texted in, said, cops said the Mustang did the right thing and slowed down, and the postal worker kept going. Sounds like dedication to the win, if you ask me.
I just couldn't believe how calm she was. Did you know you're going 108?
Well, I think maybe he was as shocked as anybody would be if you see a post office van going that fast. You're like, I didn't think they could go that fast. Got a warning and had to pay a fine. Worth it. This is a text from Roy. Roy says, quote, I'm quoting here. Again, this is not me. This is Roy.
This is Roy.
Roy texted in and said, quote,
yep.
I'm a Native American in Minnesota, and the old flag was just fine. The new flag sucks. Nobody likes it.
Well, that was the guy who designed it, isn't it? The one with the blue and the, yeah.
Selective Hearing Stu wanted to know if I stopped at the Iowa Tap House. I did not. I have been there before, though. Thank you. Have you seen this place?
The Iowa Tap House?
Are you familiar with it? It's kind of famous. So they have a silo, essentially, and they've got 99 taps.
I have.
One of them's water. Yeah. No?
Yeah. Didn't make it there, though, in your big trip to Des Moines.
No, we had other plans. Thank you, though. Jake texted in, said, let's go golfing, Brian. Send me your number. I'm usually golfing during the week and during the day.
Yeah, it's golf weather.
Okay, strange man, I don't know. I'll just send you my number. Do dudes really do that?
What? Go golfing with other dudes?
I got to bring that up tomorrow. Thank you. I got to talk about something tomorrow.
I got to talk about something tomorrow.
Okay.
I got to talk about something.
Write it down or send yourself an email.
I did.
Send yourself an email.
I was going to totally talk about
Jake, I appreciate it.
Email.
I don't send my number to dudes.
You don't know him?
I don't know if I know him. I don't.
He wants to go golfing? No.
I appreciate the ask, but I'm not just going to send some rando my number so you can write it on the bathroom wall of whatever bar you go to in Alaska. Thanks. I'm sure you're not a murderer.
I'm sure, too.
Appreciate it. Thanks for all the correspondence. Good to hear from you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Again, air quality warning today. Canadian wildfire, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, till about noon, so if you have people, be concerned about them.
Yeah, keep an eye out. Music on the way from Five Finger Death Punch and DMX.